Oh, you're here. We're just starting to set up the venue.
We've called up everyone we possibly could have. This is going to be quite the event.
My masterpiece is going to be exhibited after all. Let's see what the Academia shall say about it this time. And if we activate this little mechanism just like that, a Sumeru rose will appear at the top of...
Oh, I see.
I thought it came out of thin air. It's amazing.
If the mechanism was bigger, you could make a rabbit appear, right?
Then you can't use a cane. Could you switch it out with a hat or something?
You're applying what you learned creatively. Not bad. Let's look at the next page. If you fold an origami bird like this, it'll fly further and more stably.
Whoa. You can make a mechanism using just a piece of paper?
The principles at play are even more important than the parts that make up a mechanism.
These are pretty cool. I'm tempted to try them out.
I'm not that interested in toys, but if they'll be beneficial for children's development...
Everyone, we have paper prototypes and craft materials that you can use to make your own toys. Come try them out.
This is such a well-prepared event. I'll give it a go.
But we want to play too.
It's fine. We have a lot of paper prototypes and craft materials. All feedback is also welcomed.
Oh, my origami bird flew further this time.
Professor Farazan, how can I make mine fly further?
Ahem. Just Madam will do. Maybe in the future, you may indeed get the chance to call me Professor. You may wish to pay attention to these few details. Here, for example. All right, try it again.
Wow, it really did fly farther.
Madam Farazan, will we learn origami at the Academia?
Of course you will. If you become a researcher, you can explore any field you like to your heart's content. In the future, if you want, you can even become one of my students.
But Mom and Dad said that there are 6 Darshans in the Academia. Wait, was it 7? Which Darshan teaches about mechanisms in origami?
Well, in this case, it wouldn't be Haravatat.
I know. We need to choose Kasharawar.
Huh?
I want to attend Kasharawar in the future and fold even better origami birds.
I want to make even more awesome mechanisms.
Actually, the other Darshans do have their own specialties, too. Pay attention, children. Children? How did this happen?
What if we end up in a Darshan we don't like? Does that mean that we won't get to learn about the things we do like?
No, that won't happen. Take me, for example. I'm a researcher from Haravatat, but I research mechanisms, see? The only person able to restrict your curiosity as a researcher is you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Not really.
Huh. It's all right. You still have a long road ahead of you. Now, do you want to learn about some other machines? Let me tell you a story about pressure-based mechanisms and elemental monuments.
What now? She seems so busy. Master said there's no rush, but I know that he's been busy working on something at Paradise DI, so he hasn't returned to Gandharvaville for several days now. I feel for Madame Farazan, but I still won't. But if I get her in trouble with the academia... But if someone does complain to the... And if the academia investigated and found her at party... Do you have some way to invite her over to Parties DI with... Okay, then.
Huh. I have to teach
Madame Farazan, we're back!
Well, since...
Please, Madame Farazan, focus. Today's... Huh?
Yes. Why, that lad didn't make it very clear in his letter, now did he?
Yeah, that's right!
Wait. Opportunities for collaborative... Also, there isn't much overlap between Madame Farazan's research and that of Amorta, right?
A fully automated irrigation system.
A fully automated irrigation system?
Precisely. It's a system that can automatically adjust the amount of water it provides based on the season and the plant species involved. I saw a similar mechanism while exploring a ruin in the rainforest. That's why Tainari wanted to collaborate with me.
A mechanism like that exists? Why haven't I heard of it before?
I found it 100 years ago, so it's only natural that you don't know about it. Why don't you go ask your teacher's teacher? Perhaps they've heard about it for...
But we can't prove...
Fret not. I'll have Tainari write an official...
An official proposal. Fine. I'll go inform my superiors now.
Sure. I'll be sure to... Phew. I think she bought it. Even though this is our first meeting.
Wow! You made up that excuse on the spot, huh?
Who knows? It's been 100 years.
Huh?
I'll let Tainari worry about whatever If I'm right, the request he has in store for me won't be any...
Master, we're back! Huh? Where did he go?
You don't have to shout. I can hear you. Well, you got here much faster than I expected. I thought you'd have a lot more business to take care of.
Thanks to the Traveler, I was able to, pawn off various problems of mine onto others.
Onto others? What does that mean?
We can discuss that later. You're looking for me because of the thing you mentioned in the letter, right?
That's right. Please follow me.
A monster? Why is there a monster here?
Don't be scared, Kale. This is the mechanical life form the Traveler and I saved a while back. Its name is Karkata. It's the final work of a late junior of mine.
You mean Abatui? He must have been a genius to create one of such polish all by himself. It's uncommon that a Spongemod researcher is able to create such an intricate machine. If he were still around, we could probably chat the day away. What a shame. seems wrong here. Have you been maintaining it? Mechanical life forms are much more fragile than they look.
Is Karkata sick?
Karkata has been lying down like this since a few days ago. It could be an old malfunction acting up again. I've taken a few courses conducted by Spontamod before, so I've managed to perform some passable repairs on Karkata's energy supply module. However, it seems the issue this time is with its transmission. My knowledge can only prevent its condition from deteriorating any further. But Madame Farazan, you should be able to find a way to repair it.
Not necessarily. Mechanical life forms are created using techniques from alchemy, elemental science, and more. There are multiple modules here that influence each other. A simplistic knowledge of mechanisms will not serve here. You know that as well. Each mechanical life form is very different from the next. So even I cannot be sure if my understanding of mechanical life forms is going to be of any use to our little crab friend here.
Karkata.
Can you all go outside for a minute? I need a bit of space. Before I do a thorough check, everything we've just said is but conjecture.
All right. We're counting on you, Madame Farazan. We'll wait here till Farazan finishes her inspection. In the meantime, I'd like to talk to you about her. Her past, huh? Quite a few people in the academia know about what happened to her. Perhaps it'd be best if I'm the one to tell you. I've told you before that she had disappeared for 100 years, right? From her perspective, her exact words were...
That ruin was crawling with traps and coded inscriptions from wall to wall. I did all I could to decipher the code and deactivate the traps to escape the ruin, but there was no way out. I lost track of time and I ran out of pen and paper. In the end, I had to use stone shards to write on the walls and on the floor to decipher the code. Then, before I realized it, I ran out of space on the walls and floor. I had to calculate all the possibilities in my mind. After that, my memory started to become fuzzy, and my cognition slowed down.
She doesn't remember anything else, including the location of the ruin, and how she finally managed to escape. When she was found in the outskirts of Sumeru a few years ago, she looked exactly the same as she did 100 years prior. However, she was in a stupor and struggled to form sentences. Only after a lengthy recovery period could she speak. The academia speculates that she must have got... And because of the ruin's special properties that halted her aging, she was able to use those 100... Though she had finally broken free, 100 years had passed. Everyone she knew... In the end, even the academia had to rely on century-old records in the Akasha to confirm her existence. Don't make that face. I'm not telling you this because I want to drum up sympathy. Rather, she sees that period of entrapment as an experimental error. As a researcher, she must accept everything that results from her experiments, even if they don't fall within expectations. Even after going through so much, she's returned to Sumeru and still hasn't given up on her research. Due to changes over the years and drift in academic subjects, she holds some rather strong opinions about the current academia, and she has no shortage of detractors herself. What I want to say is that no matter what era we're in, Farazan is a true senior researcher, in every sense of the word. She has her own deep understanding of various ruins and machines. If there's a chance, you should talk about them with her. It'll definitely...
Master! Madam...
Oh, let's head over.
I never thought that I'd encounter a restitution module once again after 100 years. Abatui really installed quite a few impressive things on this. If my guess is correct, this mechanical life form has displayed attempts at self-sustenance before, right? Such as collecting parts to repair itself, for instance?
It used them for something else, but as far as its design goes, it does have a function like that.
I knew it. If I'm not wrong, Carcutta's issue lies with its restitution module. Abatui's modified this module extensively, but the core parts and design philosophy are very similar to the principles as I know them. They are all based on principles learned from the ruins. The creators of the Ruins machine once tried to create a perpetual mechanism that could replace life or even surpass it. The restitution module is the result of one of their countless attempts. It replicates the behavior of living things to achieve a self-repair function. However, the energy required in maintenance of the module became an issue.
Energy consumption? Maintenance?
For example, a living thing's heart can deliver nutrients and blood to various organs. However, the bigger the living thing, the more powerful the heart needs to be. Once the heart is damaged, it'll be hard for that living thing to heal itself, and even the function of other organs can be affected. Thus, the attempt wasn't widely adopted. Even 100 years ago, I'd only seen it once before. Oh dear, this is going to be a problem. Based on my current research, I'll need to swap out the damaged parts in the restitution module to repair Karkata. But like I just said, the module is rare, even by the standards of ancient machines. Not only that, but there is very little related research documentation available. Finding suitable parts would be like trying to find a single gear in the vast desert, to say nothing of the difficulty in making those parts from scratch. One can only wonder where Abatui found the original parts.
I might have an idea. Abatui was, for a time, quite passionate about excavating the Great Red Sand. This was when he had just gotten expelled from the academia.
You mean to say he found a restitution module in the desert? Well, that is indeed possible.
But the desert's huge. How are we supposed to find the parts that Karkata needs?
According to the Academia's records, no similar parts have been found in the Great Red Sand over the past 100 years.
I do know that a Vahumana researcher formed an expedition team after the sandstorms and earthquakes subsided. They are now exploring areas of the desert.
Should we ask them if they've made any new discoveries lately?
The chances are slim, but it's at least more effective than running around like...
His name is Raid. I think he's stationed at the northeast part of the Hypostyle Desert. Let's go look for him once Karkata settles down.
Oh, you and Kale should probably stay. Karkata's condition may be stable, but it would still be better if some of us stay to look after it. Besides, you still need to take care of the trouble that the Academia left for me.
Trouble from the Academia? I thought you said that you pawned it off to someone else. Wait. Don't tell me.
I'll let Kale fill you in on the details. I look forward to seeing your work, Tainari.
Quick, let's find shelter, or mushrooms will start growing up. Their heads.
Illusion ship!
I see everything!
Silence! Is it what you wish to find? Hopefully the excitement of opening a treasure chest has at least made it a worthwhile experience.
What is this?
Halt! Mr. Raid's permission is required to proceed any further. That still won't do. Mr. Raid told us to keep people away.
Damage the site? I've excavated more ruins than...
He isn't at the campsite now. You should all leave.
What a stubborn guy. You're right. Even if there is new information... I'm going to give that Raid a good...
Ruins? Don't know anything. We were only hired.
Forget excavation. They won't even let us get close to the camp where they're staying.
This area used to be ravaged by frequent sandstorm. They say that this was done by a single traveler? But seriously, is such a thing even humanly possible?
That machine looks amazing! Could it be the legendary Ruin Wanderer? The location seems to fit too. Might that legend actually be true?
Well, I found out everything I could. Is there anything that stands out to you? Ruin Wanderer. That's the first time I've heard that name. It's a bit far away, and I can't really say for sure from this distance. Perhaps we should ask the villager from before about the legend first.
Huh? What are you guys doing back here? I wouldn't blame you for not knowing about it, youngsters. After all, it's a tale that's over a decade old. It's said that this monster, the Ruin Wanderer, traversed through various ruins for centuries. Many adventurers had claimed to see it while exploring. Some said that it was like a giant, while others said that it was like a beast. However, none knew why it wandered the ruins. Then, about 10 years ago, we stopped hearing any news about it in Sumeru. No one has seen it since then, and the legend has since faded into memory. You youngsters probably don't know about the Ruin Wanderer nowadays, but it was famous for centuries.
Centuries? Impossible. I heard nothing about it back then. It could only have been around for a few decades at most.
Wait, back then?
Indulge my curiosity for a moment. Why do you think that wreckage is the Ruin Wanderer?
Well, I had also heard that secondhand from...
You heard that nonsense from the Eremites after they got drunk, right?
Who are you?
Madam Faruzan, it is a pleasure. I'm Raid, the one who organized this archaeological expedition. I'd heard of you at the Academia, but I didn't expect to run into you here. Truly, it is an honor. And this must be the famous traveler, I presume. What brings the two of you here?
Have you found any special contraptions and relics in the ruins that you've been investigating?
I'm ashamed to say that we haven't found anything noteworthy, even though we've been investigating for a while now.
Really? That Ruin Wanderer isn't noteworthy to you?
I'm afraid those are mere rumors. Really, I sometimes wish that those people would put as much effort into their work as they do into gossiping.
You're right, sir. I'll get back to work now.
The wise do not buy into rumors, so it is said. I believe that you too, Madam Faruzan, do not put any stock into such baseless talk.
It is also said that real knowledge shall come from practice. I can help you research the excavated relics and see if I can find out anything new about them. You can take credit for any new discoveries. I believe this offer to be sufficiently attractive.
In truth, I could ask for nothing better than your help with our research. However, you two must be tired after a long journey. I'd feel bad if I set you to work immediately. It's getting late and my subordinates and I are heading back to the camp to rest. Why don't you find a place to spend the night first? We can continue our discussion tomorrow.
There are tents over there that the villagers occasionally use to rest. The condition is a bit simple, yes, but I hope you won't mind.
Since you need to rest as well, let's do just that.
Halt! Mr. Raid's permission is required to proceed any further.
This is quite far away. Are they trying to prevent the villagers from eavesdropping on them? This suits us just fine, though. This way, they won't overhear our conversations either. Now, I have my suspicions about this archaeological expedition team and that machine wreckage. I only caught a quick glimpse, and it was from a distance. But based on the condition of the armor and joints, it didn't seem like something that had been lying around for centuries. At most, I'd estimate that it only stopped moving about a dozen years ago. Yes, the timing coincides with the spreading of the legend. Now, assuming that it really is the Ruin Wanderer, how do you suppose it was able to maintain a relatively good condition despite high-intensity operation over the course of several decades? That's right. Technically speaking, the module shouldn't be able to move such a large machine chassis. However, I'm basing my knowledge on the mechanical life forms I've seen before. Well, this was over 100 years ago. It was a machine about the same size as Karkata, actually. It couldn't carry heavy objects or fight, and was only able to help me record some notes. It also helped me deliver letters home. I found it near the desert, which is why I wondered if there might be more restitution modules buried around here. Honestly, people in ancient times might have already solved the problem of providing enough power for all I know. I'll need to research this properly. Had I confronted Raid right there and then, he would have said that he couldn't tell that the machine was special. Then he'd just hand it over to the Academia obediently, and he'd get away scot-free. If the wreckage were to be handed to the Academia, it'd be much tougher for us to do research on it or get spare parts for Karkata. Anyway, we should figure out what they're planning before making our next move. They insisted that we should stay the night, which means if they're trying to pull a fast one on us, they're likely to try tonight. We must be vigilant. Are those sounds coming from the excavation site? I knew they wouldn't be able to wait. They must be scared that we might discover something tomorrow. Not a single person guarding the campsite. This must be quite the manpower expenditure. I'll see if they left any clues behind at their camp. Keep watch and help me stall them if it comes to that, would you? All right. I'm counting on you.
Why isn't the tent here yet? We need to switch it out tonight.
It's still on the way. I'm afraid this is the first time we're delivering such a huge one.
You good-for-nothings are just a load of trouble, aren't you? We wouldn't have to deal with these interlopers if you had kept those lips of yours from flapping. Hurry up and hide our current tent and deliver the new one to me tonight, no matter what it takes.
Huh? Who's there?
I'm sorry. I'm just a bit upset because my subordinates aren't doing their jobs properly. It's nothing. Just a tent. We didn't pack up all our tents from the last campsite. Some of them, along with a few people, have been left there. Someone damaged our current tent, so I'm trying to get my subordinates to get one from that previous. The relics in the ruins are highly valuable, so I'm worried that treasure hoarders and bandits might try to steal them. Since the tent isn't here yet, and I can't fall asleep. Well, these things are antiques after all. There will always be people interested in buying them. I hired so many people precisely because I was worried about that happening. Speaking of which, I'd like... Also, where's Farazan? Why isn't she with you?
I'm right here. Also, you forgot to address me as Madam.
Sorry, Madam Faruzan.
You were all making so much noise that I couldn't sleep, which is why I got the Traveler to find out what was going on. But for some reason, that one task took forever, so I came to check in on the situation.
I'm very sorry for disturbing your rest. I'll tell my subordinates to be quieter on patrol.
Good. Come on, Traveler. Let's head back. Yes, we came to check out the situation. We should get better rest so that we'll have energy to investigate tomorrow. Thanks for dealing with them. Now, I found something good on my end. These are the excavation records from their campsite. According to them, the ruins have been raided before, with numerous traps and contraptions having already been triggered. I also observed the wreckage up close earlier. The weathering is nowhere near as extensive as on the relics that have been buried for over 100 years. There's no doubt that the wreckage and the ruins don't belong to the same era. Instead, it must have wandered into the ruins about a dozen years ago. It could have fallen into a trap or encountered a glitch within the ruins, remaining stationary like that until it was discovered recently. However, I still don't know why they'd want to hide it. I have no doubt that the researcher could definitely reach the same conclusion I did. The last few pages of the excavation records are written in code, which I still need time to decipher. It's just wordplay. And if anything, that's my wheelhouse. Just a bit more. Ah, I see now.
Help! Please help! Why are you running away? Come back! Protect me!
What's that sound? Is it? The Ruin Wanderer? Reactivated? That's impossible! Is this the work of some kind of hidden mechanism? Never mind. We have to focus on saving lives first. I'll cover them. You go stall the Ruin Wanderer. What? It ignored the Traveler?
Why is it chasing after us?
What could have caused it to reactivate? It to give chase?
Darn it! Hey, come on, you lot! It's clear that we can't escape, so let's just attack it!
It stopped?
Hey, you guys, get up there.
But what if it's
You good fun. Looks like this thing's parts can't handle the load. When it first reactivated, I was wondering if it'd be as amazing as the legends had pegged it to be.
Disappointing, you say? Now, is that because you won't be able to sell it for much?
Faruzan, you may be my senior as an academia researcher, but that doesn't mean you get to slander me.
You wrote these excavation records, did you not? Or perhaps calling it a ledger might jog your memory a bit better.
I don't recognize that thing.
January 3rd, excavated 5 tents. January 5th, 3 tents sold. January 10th, 1 special tent pre-sold. It must quickly be switched out with an old tent. You're supposed to be an archaeological expedition team, and yet here you are, secretly selling the relics and profiting from it. When you believed that you had found the wreckage of the Ruin Wanderer, you tried to switch in wreckage that you had excavated previously to pull the wool over the Academia's eyes. After all, there would probably be many wealthy buyers interested in purchasing the legendary Ruin Wanderer in the black market, yes? And then we arrived just before you could finish your work. That forced you to speed up your plan, and you tried to complete the switch overnight before I could investigate the wreckage. In your haste, however, you accidentally activated the Ruin Wanderer instead. Did I get that all right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You lack the curiosity befitting a man of knowledge, nor do you have respect for mechanical life forms. You're not fit to be a researcher.
Ridiculous. Curiosity? Respect? I'm not here to hear you preach. Hey, we're leaving.
Mr. Raid!
Behind you?
Ah!
Why is it moving again? Run!
Some said that it was like a giant, while others said that it was like a beast. However,
Technically speaking, the module shouldn't be able to move such a large machine chassis. However, I'm basing my knowledge on the mechanical life forms I've seen before. Centuries? Impossible. I heard nothing about it back then. It could only have been around for a few decades at most.
Why is it chasing after us?
So you've been looking for me this whole time? Long time no see, Tamimi.
Dear Farazan, I hope you're doing well. It has been over 20 years since you went missing. People from the Academia keep telling us to give up and that you're most likely dead. But somehow, I feel like you're still alive. Yes, that you live still in some corner of this world. You've always been persistent, able to shine no matter what situation you face. I believe that this persistence serves you well in surviving and finding your way home. Unfortunately, I likely won't be able to welcome you home when you do. I don't have much time left, and my reflexes have slowed. Others keep telling me to stop exploring ruins. Only Tamimi is still the same as before, always running off to places which you've been to. Your teacher and friends came up with an idea to remodel Tamimi so it can search for you in our place. You didn't like coming home back then and would always get Tamimi to send a letter back. Now we're leaving a letter with Tamimi. I wonder if it'll ever be delivered to you. I don't know the answer to that question, but if you ever read this letter, I hope it'll be when you've already found your way home. I regret not being able to say this to you myself, but I'll still feel sincerely happy for you, my dear daughter.
Welcome home, Farazan. Look at you, Tamimi. You've changed so much after all these years. Thank you for waiting for me all this time. I've safely received the letters. Your work is done now. You can sleep. Tamimi, the mechanical life form I encountered back then. When I would go on expeditions, it would follow me, take notes for me, and send my letters home. When I met with that accident, it was on the way to deliver a letter for me. I once thought that I'd never get to see it again. I didn't expect my teacher and others to remodel its self-repair function, upgrading it to self-learning. And so, in order to plumb the depths of unknown ruins and overcome dangerous traps, it repaired and modified itself using parts it found along the way. 1 decade of wandering became many, and soon, Tamimi, which used to be incapable of even moving heavy objects, became the Ruin Wanderer. All so it could deliver these last letters from them to me. The strain to support such a huge body must have turned out to be too much for your heart, right? Even after the remodeling, its restitution module still can't function perfectly in perpetuity. It has been pushing itself beyond its limits over the past few decades. Just like a living being, mechanical life forms have a limited lifespan. It probably became trapped in the ruins all those years ago because its shelf life had run out. It most likely only reactivated because it detected my presence. And then it mustered up everything it had to deliver that last letter. Now, it can finally rest in peace. Tainari told you what happened to me, right? You don't have to apologize. It's not like this incident is a secret in the academia. Besides, I've always treated it as a failed experiment. As a researcher, I must accept this result. However, finding out that so many people were affected by my failure does make me feel somewhat conflicted. Can you head back to Pardistii first? We've been here for a while, and it's best not to make Kale and the rest worry. As for me, I want to stay with Tamimi for a bit longer. Just a bit.
How was your journey through the desert? So, battle. All right. And to think that Raid was doing all those things on the sly. It's good that you all got out of that situation in one piece.
Madame Farazan will be able to repair Karkata when she gets back, won't she?
I see the value in my own work, but I also see the meaning in...
I'm back! What? Madame Farazan! That's more like it. Now, here are some components I brought back from the desert.
So this is a relic of an ancient civilization.
Unscrupulous, huh? Sounds like you already told them what happened. Is that so? Thank you. It's nothing. I've already given all the evidence we have against Raid to the Academia. They're going to be very busy. I'll start repairing Karkata then. Of course!
It looks fine, but even so, it needs to properly rest up.
Farazan went out after repairing Karkata. Well, I will not probe.
It looks fine, but...
Madame Farazan seems to have a lot on her mind. Now's probably not the time to pry.
Will I be able to take Karkata with me on patrol duty in the future?
I see everything!
Madame Farazan seems to have a lot on her mind. Now's probably not the time to pry.
Surely everyone knows quantity cannot make up for quality.
Ah, you're here. Thank you for keeping Tamimi a secret. If I tell them about Tamimi, will they still feel happy for Karkata? Even if we could convince them to accept the components, I don't want my past to affect people in the present. That applies to both me and other people. It's fine. I'm used to this. I once believed that I'd never hear from my old friends and family ever again. However, I could remember them clearly again after reading the letter. I'd be disappointing them if I let myself fall into a slump because of this. Neither my teacher nor my mother would have wanted to see me like that. Besides, you're lending a listening ear to me now, aren't you? Oh, Pardeus DI looks... Once Karkata's condition stabilizes, I'll find... But for now, just help me keep this secret. Thank you. I suppose I should consider myself quite fortunate. The only time when I felt otherwise was when I had just returned to Sumeru. No one came to check up on me then. Yeah, I'm home.
This guy just keeps going on and on. Why does he have to be so curious?
You're back!
Ah.
Oh no. she finally...
As a researcher, she could perhaps accept it. We should give her some time. And in the future...
I'm back!
We've all been waiting for you, madam.
That's more like it. Now, here are some components I brought back from the desert. Switch these out with the ones Karkata is using right now, and it'll be back in ship shape. Huh? Why do you all look so
Madame Farazan, did...
Come now. I thought that you must have encountered some major problem. Well, it looks like you already know everything. But no need to feel bad. Tamimi had been operating beyond capacity for a century, and I'm unable to repair it with my current abilities. As a senior, it is only right that I do something for the people who come after me. That holds true for both researchers and machines. Besides, I didn't say that I would be giving you these parts for free. They will only be used for Karkata temporarily. I'll be sure to revive Tamimi once I've fully deciphered and replicated the creations of the ancient civilization.
All right. I'll do my best to help.
Me too. Although, I'm not...
Thank you. If they could remodel Tamimi successfully even back then, there's no reason why we won't be able to do even better. And when that day comes, welcome home, Tamimi.
What now? She seems so busy. Master said there's no rush, but I know that he's been busy working on something up. I feel for Madame Fart, but if I get her in trouble... Yeah, that would be But I'm sure he'll say, huh? Oh yes, so if I also stay and help, okay then.
I have to teach...
We're back, Madame Farazan. The Traveler said that...
Oh! Why, I couldn't ask for more. Is that so? Now, should I apply to teach a course with Haravatat, or join the collaborative project that Kosharawar is proposing?
You might have heard of it before. Haravatat is an academic faction that researches...
Now, not was. Still am.
Yes, of course. But current Haravatat students can't really... understand her...
In summary, I mean to interpret the configurations and solutions of ruin mechanisms via the deciphering of on-site stone carvings and unearthed documents. It'll include research into general documents dealing with such ancient machines.
The research method is supported by Haravatat, yes, but the content deals heavily with both ruins and mechanisms. This will make it difficult for students. Also, there are fewer and fewer unexplored ruins left nowadays, and Kosharawar researchers have been developing their own theories on mechanisms. As such, they don't need to rely on ancient documents.
They're far too complacent. Ancient mechanisms are more dangerous and complex than one might imagine. I'm telling you, things weren't like this 100 years ago. All researchers back then were interested in Nowadays, all people are interested in are mainstream subjects in popular research. Even if they attended my course, I wouldn't be interested. Also, the people here think that my research is outdated and unrealistic, so they keep cutting my funding. Why, I think they could all stand to learn from Kale. She's a hard-working child and respects her elders.
Huh? Why me?
If only those who came to my lectures were more like you. Speaking of which, are you feeling better? You don't have to confine yourself to Gandharvaville anymore, right?
I just remembered that I have a lot of studying.
Are you telling me to start a reading course for Kale?
Huh?
Wait. Although Tainari has academic dealings with the academia, he isn't considered part of it. This means that Kale isn't technically a student.
No, he's right. The old academia became consumed by their arrogance There must surely be many people like Kale and Sumeru who are passionate about learning, but the old academia paid no heed to them. But if I start a reading course for Kale as a pilot, perhaps this shall come to benefit many more people in the future. Oh, save yourself the extra trouble. I'll come with you. If there's any arguments to be had, we shall sweep them aside together. Traveler, Kale, do wait for it.
Wait! I can't believe she rushed right in after we arrived. She's really headstrong. Oh, how did things turn out like this? No, not really. Madame Farazan is a brilliant scholar. Even Master thinks so. If she's really going to teach me how to read, it'll definitely be much better than me bashing my head against the wall. It's just that she can get a bit too passionate sometimes. I don't know how to handle that. Maybe it's because she wants to take me in as a student? It's just like that researcher said. The academia has completely changed during the 100 years that Farazan was gone. I don't really get it, but it does seem like Haravatat's students aren't optimistic about the prospects of doing research with her. Students who are interested in mechanisms and applications of the elements generally enroll in Kasharawar and Spotamod. Madame Farazan also refuses to accept random students just to make up numbers. She still hasn't found a student she likes, even after all this time back. But she seems to like my attitude toward learning, so she often asks me if I'm willing to become her student. It's because I'm a slow learner that I have no choice but to stay up late and study. Whenever she compliments me, I feel really guilty. It's not that. Madame Farazan respects my choices. She sometimes brings food to Gandharvaville for me, and each time she says that Master can't find out. Now that you mention it, it does feel...
Kale, Traveler, thank you for... I argued with the higher-ups and convinced them of their practicality and... If I'm not mistaken, they're the students of my classmates' students. They're a lot less forceful than their predecessors, though. I'd say they caved rather quickly.
Amazing.
It's just that we need to fill in every single page of the application. It's been a century, but the academia is as picky as ever. Let's see now. What do we need to fill in? Course name, learning objectives, teaching methods, course materials. I suppose we can fill in the course name last. That's a bit too general, I'd say. After all, this class's target audience isn't toddlers or children, but rather people who already know the basics of reading. As such, we'll need a more specific learning objective. How about proficiency in reading and writing?
That's true. If we use children's teaching materials, we'll only end up wasting a lot of time on things that students would already know.
And you have your job as a forest ranger, Kale. People who attend this course in the future are also likely to have life commitments. We need more effective teaching methods.
Master always tells me that practice is the best way to learn. That's why I often ask him to help me find simple books to read.
It must have been difficult to get books in Sumeru in recent years, no? Expanding literacy is a capital notion. Now that the academia is easing restrictions on the circulation of books, there should be more people who have become interested in reading. It's a great time to conduct this course. So that's next on the list. I fear that I'm at a loss as to which books youngsters like nowadays. Would The Legend of Antara be too old of a story? Fair. Kale, what have you been reading lately?
Me? I've been reading light novels from Inazuma. I heard that ever since we were allowed to sell books in Sumeru again, some people set up stalls at Treasure Street to sell light novels.
Light novels? This is my first time hearing about such a thing, but I doubt I will procure suitable teaching materials from the House of Dana. Treasure Street it is.
Wait for us, Madame Farza. You wouldn't think someone as fast as her is over 100. Let's pick up the pace and catch up to her.
I feel sleepier whenever I remember one of his poems.
I don't get it.
What a long and mildly ungrammatical title.
Is this your first time seeing a light novel, ma'am? Oh, they're the most popular of books nowadays. Would you like me to recommend something?
Fine. One shouldn't judge a—
Of course. Why don't you try this one? It's Outlander Brigade.
I heard that this book's author describes action in vivid detail.
Now I've only skimmed through a few pages, but it feels like it's all fight scenes. There are only subjects and predicates.
Subject?
The protagonist just ends up fighting in every scene with no proper build-up. Will anyone even enjoy a story that's only comprised of fights?
How about... the good thing about being reincarnated as a hilly churl is that I only need to eat Sunsetias to become stronger.
A reincarnation isekai story? Those are pretty popular right now.
Isekai? What in the world is that? Also, why does it become stronger by eating Sunsetias? Tropes? Those fictional rules used to push the plot forward, yes?
Sorry.
However, this book doesn't explain how reincarnation correlates to becoming stronger. Such an illogical rule will affect the coherence of the story. Will readers really accept this?
How about this? I had to fight tooth and nail to get this in stock.
Oh, that's the latest volume of Onibudo!
Now that's a rather normal title length.
Oh, yes, but I don't like it that much. Madam?
Let me see. The dialogue flows third eye of perception, illusory mirror, and so on.
I also thought those names were strange when I was reading them.
It's impossible to derive the meaning of these phrases in isolation. Also, their morphological properties, or did the protagonist purposely create these strange names to disorient their foes? So there's no deeper purpose.
You're right. It's such a weird book.
Even the most popular book in Sumeru back then had greater depth than anything written today. Yes, a Bahumano researcher wrote it while researching folk legends. The plot had many twists. The world building was fantastic, and even the writing could withstand scrutiny. When it was still being published, many people in the academia were reading it. Even the sages back then all described the story as a timeless classic. The series must have concluded after so many years, right? Perhaps...
Is there a book like that in Sumeru? I've never heard of such...
It's called Tales of Shahryar.
Tales of Shahryar?
About 100 years ago.
100 years ago? Are you pulling my...
The legend of Antara is popular to this very day, isn't it? I just heard someone telling it a few days ago in a cafe. If an old story like that is still being shared, then Tales of Shahryar must be even more popular.
Even if that is the case, I really don't carry that book.
What? I can't believe they've allowed the people of Sumeru to become so
Tales of Shahryar. I mean, it is a book from 100 years ago.
Tales of Shahryar is considered an antique now? How could the academia... Traveler, Kale, I'm going to get...
Madam, wait! Oh no, this is bad. You asked me why I'm scared of Madame Farazan, right? It's not because I don't know how to respond to her kindness. It's because I'm afraid of that ancient language she researches, because I can barely understand any of it. What if she uses ancient texts as teaching material? Even so, what if researchers from 100 years ago like to use ancient languages in their books? We've got to catch up to her!
Found it! The 5th volume of Tales of Shahryar! Wow, you actually...
I never thought this book would ever get sold.
All right, that's our teaching material secured. We also now know what to call this course.
Can I take a look? Luckily the language being used here isn't...
As long as the writing is good, readers won't need any illustrations to imagine the scenes. Worry not, I shall thoroughly explain the difficult... After all this time, I wonder if Aaliyah and Aziz ended up together. And who obtained the desert gem in the end? Sir, do you have the subsequent volumes of this series?
I don't think so.
Is that so? And here I thought I could finally read the ending. Never mind, I'll keep searching for the later volumes myself. If I'm to use it as a teaching material, it's better to start earlier in the series. Where are the first 4 volumes? Why aren't they all together?
I don't have those either. Actually, this is the only volume I have.
Is this series really that popular?
No. It's not popular at all. Rather, there's absolutely no demand for it.
No demand? Impossible! Back then, I'd come across at least 3 groups of people talking about it during a single stroll at the academia.
Seriously? No one told me that this book was anything special when I first got it.
Where did you get this from? Can you still contact the seller?
I'm afraid not. This book was sold together with a whole bunch of antique furniture. I didn't even notice it initially. Otherwise, the Matra would have come knocking. Wait, is this book actually worth a lot? It can't be, right?
That's impossible. No matter how strict the academia was, there's no way Tales of Shahryar could have fallen into such a state.
I do remember a passerby skimming through the book a few days ago. However, he simply sighed and left.
He sighed? Why would he react like that? Given the quality of Tales of Shariar, he should have been entranced after a single glance. I'm sorry. Traveler, Kale, please give me a moment. I'd like to look through this book first. Why is there another misunderstanding between Ali and Aziz? Also, why is there no mention of the Desert Gem at all? And a new character is introduced with no foreshadowing at all? Also, what are all these new names and terms? Is this really the Tales of Shariar I know?
Well, that passerby reacted in much the same way. It's Mada from the cafe over there. You know, the fellow who spends all day telling the legend of Antara. Since that's also a very old story, maybe he knows a thing or two about that, Tales of, whatever it's called.
Then let's go ask around at the cafe. Huh? Madame Farazan?
Huh? Oh, yes. Let's go.
Another day, another empty room.
Excuse me? But...
Yes! Are you...
What? Sorry.
It's fine. I'm used to it, more or less.
Do you know about Tales of Shariar?
Huh? Tales of Shariar? Why, I can barely remember the last time anyone talked about it. My master always talked about how incredibly popular that book used to be. However, I tried reciting a few chapters of it at the cafe, and I found that it's even less popular than the Legend of Antara.
Your master?
Yes, the one who taught me how to be a storyteller. He said that Tales of Shariar was written by his master's master's master. He also said that this great-great-grandmaster was an academia researcher, and that even the sages liked the series. He wrote 4 volumes back then, and the reviews just got better and better. You couldn't find a single person in Sumeru who hadn't read his books.
And then? What happened next? Why doesn't any...
Oh, it's hard to tell when it comes to trends. One day everyone likes stories like that, and the next day their tastes change completely. Instead of writing a proper ending, this great-great-grandmaster kept trying to extend the story. To tap into popular trends, he added a lot of tropes. Then, starting from the 5th volume, the reviews started to go downhill.
How could that be? Then what happened to...
In the end, there's no ending. The great-great-grandmaster tried to write a few more volumes, following whatever trends were He got so infuriated that...
So there's no ending?
By that time, only a very small number of people were... Anyway, my master probably exaggerated. The only tangible thing my great-great-grandmaster left is the original draft of Legend of Antara. He also left behind many theses from his research phase. When my master talked about Legend of Antara, he'd even quote from those theses. My master is a much better storyteller than me. Even when we're telling the same story about Antara, he's always able to draw in a huge crowd. But even he won't recite Tales of Shariar due to its ever-changing writing style and its lack of an ending.
So, Antara's story is the one that lasted through the years.
Well, not even sages can definitively ascertain the quality of something like a story. In the end, only time can separate the classics from the fads.
Only time? Madame Farazan? It's been 100 years. Perhaps some things I once believed to be great aren't...
Master helped me find a lot of famous books at first, but in the end, I realized that I couldn't get into them. No matter how good those stories are, I can't improve my skills if I can't bring myself to read them in the first place. I think the best books for me are the ones I like.
Huh. Indeed. That is true. Readers' interest in trends of a time are not things that are so easily predicted. What was popular 100 years ago could be completely forgotten in modern times, and yet 100 years, as far as history is concerned, is but a blink of an eye. If Tales of Shahryar hadn't chased after trends and instead stuck to its original style from start to finish, it might have stood some chance of gaining renewed popularity. No, even if that didn't happen, at least it would be a work that was true to itself.
Huh? Our conversation just got a lot more serious.
I don't really get what you're talking about, but it does sound sensible. Looks like I also have to hang in there and tell Antara's story well.
How unseemly. I almost got carried away because of a single book. Well then, we should get back to the matter of our teaching material. It looks like we can't use Tales of Shahryar now. No, it's much too old.
Oh.
Kale, you found a book that you liked at the bookstall, yes?
Yes, but I don't really...
Then we'll use that book as our teaching material. Now that I think about it, using a book that you like is the most suitable choice for teaching you how to read. As for the academia, as long as we come up with an appropriate course name, we should be able to get away with this. My, it sounds like you've dealt with the academia before. Now then, let's return to the book vendor in a bit and buy the latest volume of this Onibudo for Kale. But if I wish to use...
Huh?
Speaking of which, other than Third Eye of Perception and Illusory Mirror, I also espy some unfamiliar phrases from the reader's messages at the back of the book. Such things as... Even if it reminds me of my dark history, I still can't help but be drawn in by the story. And the author has written all the things that I only dare whisper into a tree hollow. Why do people use dark history to refer to awkward or embarrassing memories? Is this some slang that was invented in the last century? If one of our learning objectives was researching linguistic changes over the past 100 years, it might make it easier to get these books approved as teaching material.
Oh, I can tell you what that's all about. Apparently, in their youth, some people used to imagine themselves as someone burdened by fate, fighting against the world, etc. But as they grew older, they started to become embarrassed by such memories. Some would write those fantasies into novels, while others would entrust such tales to tree hollows.
Mata? You know, I suddenly have the urge to hear a story about Antara.
Huh? Why so suddenly?
I knew it. There will always be people who love the golden oldies. Now, let me tell you all about the ancient hero, Antara.
Ad Astra.
Am I trying too hard? Why isn't it working? I don't...
satisfaction guaranteed.
Girls up a bit.
Life lasts forever.
Faster? Okay, faster. 1,
Try something new
2,
at the Ramen restaurant.
3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Faster? Okay, faster.
2. Breathe. 3, 4, and...
What if the Traveler is also unavailable? What am I supposed to do?
Well, that's your problem. It was your choice to get into this mess. Oh, but fortunately for you, it appears your savior has just arrived.
Ah, Traveler. Great, you made it.
Well, it's not like you were ever really busy to begin with.
Songo, compared to the Traveler, you're the one who has too much free time.
No, I'm very busy. I'm busy standing here.
Even if it's a commission you're unwilling to take, your excuse is just pathetic. Yes, that's why I've asked you to come over. Allow me to explain. A key member of the Tenryou Commission has recently gone missing. No one has seen them, and their whereabouts are currently unknown. The Tenryou Commission has entrusted us to find this person discreetly because it would be a hassle for them to look for this person openly. Their name is...
Kujosara. That's right. The General has gone missing.
If the General was really missing, the Tenryou Commission would have flipped Inazuma on its head by now. Please ignore Songo's nonsense, Traveler. He works as a special detective at the police station. Although his rank is merely a Doshin, he is quite competent and held in high regard by the police station.
Do they think he's more competent than me?
We get that you don't want to help Songo, but could you at least try not to make things more difficult here? Sorry, Traveler. Even though I accepted the commission, as you can see, Songo's less than thrilled to be involved in this case.
Nope, not even close. If you really want to know why, it's because I absolutely refuse to deal with that brat's nonsense. The only news that could make me happier than Shikanoin has gone missing would be Shikanoin has been missing for 100 years.
Needless to say, Songo and Heizo have a bit of a history. Well, it's a little more serious than that. According to Songo, Heizo was an obstacle in her path to the Temple of Truth.
Like a yappy dog that was constantly in the way.
Even though Heizo has a unique personality, he's actually a nice guy. Really, I've learned a lot from him. So I can't just ignore this case, even if Songo doesn't approve. At the very least, I could entrust the commission to someone capable and trustworthy, like you, Huh? No, it's not like that. Listen, I'll pay the entire amount originally promised by the Tenryou Commission, and I'll even personally throw in some additional funds. I'm really hoping you can take this commission, Traveler. If Heizo truly is in danger, I know he'll be safer with you by his side. Actually, we get along great. But Songo has always asked me to keep my distance and not to act like I know him in public settings. So, when people ask, I usually just say I've met Shikanoin a few times. If it hadn't been for today's incident, well, let's not get into that. Anyway, could you please help look for him? Well, that's about all I have to tell you. Oh, please take this commission letter from the...
Faster? Okay, faster.
Oh, it's you! The captain of Swordfish 2? My name is Shibata. I'm in charge of the watch here. So his name is Shikanoin Heizo, huh? Yes, I'm Her Excellency had assigned me to keep a close eye on him at the time, fearing that he would do something unpleasant. But come to think of it, I believe he was recently spotted in the area east of the Sanganamiya Shrine. Please feel free to go there and take a look for yourself.
Come on, you guys. I'm nothing but a poor tourist with empty pockets. Please, you can just let me go. Well, well, look who it is. I was wondering who could be valiant enough to wipe the floor with these guys so easily. Turns out it was the distinguished traveler. Really, I can't thank you enough. Of course I was aware of you long before you arrived in Inazuma. Though the Sakoku decree managed to keep the country locked up, it wasn't able to stop the incredible stories about you. Every day, all of those little stories would come scurrying over to my desk, like files with little feet. I was actually thinking about going to meet you once I wrapped up the business at hand. Who would have guessed that you'd show up first? I got so excited I knew... The name's Shikanoin Heizo, Special Detective of the Tenryou Commission. It's a pleasure to meet you, Traveler. I wish you all the best on your journey through Teyvat, by the way. Huh. I guess that means I've taken over as the main character in your story today. I've always heard that you take commissions from all kinds of people, helping everyone out with everything you can imagine. So now it's my turn to take your help, huh? Don't mind if I do. That was already obvious to me. It's no coincidence, because that would be the stuff of an epic novel. The two protagonists of the story, the traveler from afar heroically rescues the weak and defenseless detective from the clutches of the ruthless Nobushi. Traveler, you are so dreamy. Unfortunately, though, I don't believe in coincidences. So, I'm a detective. Can you guess what gave it away? Sounds like you already have some ideas about the work of a detective. Let me ask you this. What's that your little sidekick is holding? If I'm not...
What? And hey! Who are you calling a little sidekick? Why are you two staring at Paimon? Is Paimon not supposed to be?
Yeah, I'm also just taking a look.
He can look, but you can't.
Oh, come on. Don't be like that. After all, this is the first time I've seen a voice. I must admit, I'm most intrigued.
Huh? Voice? What are you talking about?
A vision is an external magical focus, right? Well, similarly, a voice is an external voice box. I've heard that the Traveler isn't very talkative, but given how chatty you are, you must be his voice, right?
That sounds awful! Paimon's not somebody's voice! Paimon's emergency food! Wait! Oh, Paimon's so upset she can't think straight! Paimon is Paimon! here to rescue you, but you actually opened the cage yourself. You were only pretending to be captured by the Nobushi, weren't you? Pretty suspicious if you ask Paimon. Come out with it, mister. What kind of schemes are you up to?
Sheesh. For someone who says they don't want to be a voice, you sure do talk a lot. Well, let me think for a moment. Kujo Takayuki, who was head of the Tenryo Commission at the time, had secretly asked me to investigate the military capabilities of Sangonomiya. But I had already grown tired of the guy for a while, so I simply treated the trip as a paid vacation. I had heard that Watatsumi Island is really beautiful. As for the mission, I thought I'd just come up with some random excuses or whatever when I reported back. But guess what? The first night I arrived, the dream contained only one message, an echo resounding from the depths of the earth that kept ringing in my ears, saying, "Something vital is missing on this island." Isn't that bizarre? Something vital has gone...
Paimon bets it must be some... because the soil of Watatsumi Island can't grow crops.
Oh. Food, huh? You mean the Great Serpent? Well, that's an interesting answer. But the Electro Archon hasn't abandoned this place. Interestingly, I didn't have the same dream again after I left this place. So I became even more intrigued. Was this really just some random dream? Some people believe that dreams represent the divines helping. However, if you ask me, dreams have nothing to do with the gods. It was my intuition telling me that there was something important about them. So I decided to accept and investigate. Unfortunately, the investigation has had little progress up to this point. Who knows? I felt there was something peculiar about them, so I pretended to get captured to see if there were any leads that would surface. And that's when you showed up. Nah, don't worry about it. These guys were just a bunch of small fries. Besides, your arrival is much more important to me. I have a feeling you can help me find the answer to my dream. So how would you like to partner up on this one? We can work together to solve the mystery. Yes, of course, I understand. But let me ask one more question. Well, then it's probably nothing major. Most likely they're short on staff or something petty like that, and they happen to remember their model employee. So since we're already here, why don't we just solve this puzzle together? Once everything is settled, I'll gladly accompany you back to the police station, or anywhere else you'd like to go. It's a deal then, partner. So, let's get started, shall we?
Ooh, what's the shiny thing? Oh, it's a Sango Pearl! Hey, isn't this Crystal Marrow?
So, have you found anything? Yes, I've found pretty much the same.
Aren't these all super expensive? Oh, these must...
I don't know if I'd go that far. The Nobushi would be very hard-pressed.
Huh? What do you mean?
No, that's unlikely. Crystal marrow is a rare material for crafting weapons, and Sango pearls are an even more precious commodity. Here's what I think. Due to Watatsumi's poor soil, so it's absolutely vital that they keep them under lock and key and well out of the Nobushi's reach. Which means they... If we go ask around the Sangonomiya Shrine, we can find out if there have been any recent instances of... Perfect.
Well, that...
Captain, I see you found the detective.
Watatsumi Island sure is a beautiful place. I don't think I could ever leave.
You can stay as long as you like, granted you don't cause any trouble, that is. Her Excellency has stated that all friendly visitors are, well, incidents of stolen goods. Not that I'm aware of. Her Excellency has recently launched several measures to boost the economy. Troops have also been deployed to protect them. So, it is only reasonable to assume that the current trade routes are already very safe. Any looting or theft would be practically unthinkable.
That's strange. Then where did the Nobushi get those goods from?
Huh? You mean you found goods of unknown origin?
Yep, and it's all Sango pearls and crystal...
Could there have really been a theft that hasn't been reported? That shouldn't be the case. He's responsible for the caravans and is usually in the village at night preparing the goods. If something has happened, he should know about it.
Great. Thank you for all the info. Let's go.
Hey, Traveler! It's been a while. I've missed you. Why didn't you inform me that you'd be coming over today?
General Goro.
You're dismissed, Shibata. You may go about your other duties while I catch up with the Traveler.
Yes, General Goro.
I overheard you discussing a case of stolen goods. Is that right?
That's right! We found a lot of Watatsumi's valuable products in a Nobushi camp!
I see. So you've come to ask if we know of any relevant cases. Well, I'm ashamed to say that, yes, the caravans have been plundered. And not just once, I'm afraid. We had already dispatched additional forces to protect the caravans.
And you're concerned that if this kind of news were to get out, it would undermine the confidence...
That's correct. I never expected you to be so concerned about...
Just a force of habit, really. As a detective, I notice these kinds of things.
Oh, so you two already know each other?
Actually, I've only heard of Detective Hazo from the soldiers' reports. We've never met in person.
Darn it. You're right. Now that you mention it, I've been on Watatsumi Island all this time and still haven't properly introduced myself. Man alive, please forgive me. It's a pleasure to meet you, General Goro. I'm Shikanoin Hazo of the Tenryo Commission.
Yes, it's a pleasure to meet you too. I'd like to express my gratitude to you for stepping in and helping recover those goods.
Don't mention it. You never know what you'll find when you're out for a stroll. But if the source of the problem is not addressed, I'm afraid this sort of situation will continue cropping up for you.
Yes, of course. Not only have we reassured the affected caravans, but we also dispatched personnel to investigate the culprits. The reports indicated that the stolen goods were being delivered to a merchant of the International Trade Association named Godot. It all seems pretty unusual. We suspect that there are bigger players behind Godot, and that their target is none other than Watatsumi Island's valuable resources. But unfortunately, it would be difficult for us to investigate further, given that...
Given that, Rito, the island where the International Trade Association is located is not part of your territory, yes. They have cleverly picked their base of operations.
I can see you catch on quickly, Detective Hazo.
It's my guess that you're telling us this because you're going to ask us to assist you in finding who's behind all this, right?
You're always thinking one step ahead. Yes, those were exactly my intentions. And of course, we will prepare a generous reward for you. The recent end of the war, trade and commerce have now become an important component of Watatsumi Island's development. Ensuring safety of the trade routes is critical, and we can't afford any further incidents. So, will you please help Watatsumi Island, Detective Hazo?
I'm willing to assist, but it all depends on what he wishes.
Great! With both Detective Hazo and the Traveler on the case, the situation is now in your capable hands. I look forward to hearing your report when you get back.
All right, we'll take care of it. Traveler, let's go discuss where to head from here.
I see everything.
Let's go somewhere cooler.
Very perceptive. Let me ask you, do you believe in intuition?
Huh? Intuition?
My intuition tells me that General Goro is lying.
What? How could you say that?
Good people can be deceptive, too. After all, everyone has their secrets. Well, in my opinion, the timing of his appearance was a little too coincidental. Sanganamiya soldiers have been keeping an eye on me for the entire time I've been on Watatsumi Island, yet I had never seen General Goro even once. But today he came out and met with us, and even commissioned us to investigate a case.
Maybe that's because the Traveler is here today.
Really? Huh. Then that makes things even more peculiar. If there are powerful players behind this case, and he needs to draw upon external support, then he should have taken action sooner rather than wait until today. A more plausible explanation is that the items we discovered are linked with some unspeakable secret, and he had to intervene to prevent us from digging any deeper. Then he put up a smokescreen to mislead us. I surmise that investigating the merchant Godot on Rito will yield no results.
Whoa, are you serious? But this is all just a hunch you have, right?
Actually, there is another key factor behind my reasoning, though you may not believe me. I sense something special about Goro.
Something special?
Yes. Whatever is missing on this island, I sense it in him.
Whoa! Hold it right there! Are you saying Goro's a thief? As in he took something valuable?
It's not that simple. I can't fully explain it. It's just my intuition. Sure, I trust your judgment, but perhaps you're overlooking someone else, the true leader here. It's simple. We should just investigate whatever it is they're trying to hide from us. And what were we planning to do just before Goro showed up?
Oh, we were going to talk to the leader of the caravans.
Bingo. There's no time to lose. Let's go talk to this Todoroki.
Faster? Okay, faster. Faster? Okay, faster.
Todoroki, the shipment has arrived and is ready for inspection.
Good, let's go.
Hey, it's Todoroki!
Shh, keep quiet.
Man alive. We strayed too far and now we've lost him.
Todoroki,
Good.
Hey, it's Todoroki!
Shh, keep
Your intel was spot on. When we arrived, the Nobushi were all still asleep. We captured them all, and the goods were retrieved and brought back here.
I'll take a look.
It's nothing. Thanks to the efforts of your caravan, the price of grain in the village has decreased.
That's right. And who would have thought that the injuries we sustained during the war would have such a lingering effect on our bodies? But thankfully, you also brought back some life-saving medicine.
Things are improving thanks to the help from those up top. Oh, by the way, what is the state of the village's inventory? Make sure that it's confirmed tonight. I have to leave tomorrow morning after I go to the Sangonomiya Shrine and get instructions from General Goro.
Don't worry. We've already prepared the list. Just follow us.
Huh? The soldiers from Sangonomiya seized the Nobushi stolen goods? But didn't Goro say all the stolen goods were headed to the International Trade Association?
And Todoroki said he'll get instructions from Goro tomorrow. Interesting. It appears these seized goods were never stolen. There's something else behind all this.
Whoa! Chingshin? Paimon was expecting to find Sango pearls.
Now's our Alright. Let's see what...
This box is packed so tight! It looks like it could burst. Let's see what's inside. Huh? What are all these plants and flowers? Oh, there's a small note here. Glaze lilies? What are these doing here?
So, did you find anything?
Wow! Look at all the Chingshin! And glaze lilies, too! There are also tons of other plants and flowers Paimon doesn't know here. Weird.
These are valuable raw ingredients for producing medicine. If these few crates were to be imported from retail, the price would be jaw-dropping. On top of that, these items seem to lack a tax clearance certificate, meaning that they were most likely smuggled. Yes, very interesting. Now, where did the Nobushi get these goods? How about you? Did you find anything else? Foreign Trade Association? I've never heard of such an organization in Rito. And if it's regarding foreign trade, then smuggling is an even more likely possibility. All right. In which case, I have a...
Huh? Who goes there?
Oh no! We've been spotted!
Huh? Wait.
Oh, so it's you, Captain. Captain, do you remember us? During the war, I was in the field hospital with Masashi. Teppei brought you to see us and helped find medicine for us.
Hey, come on now. The captain wouldn't forget. I gotta tell you, Captain, we all miss you. We haven't seen you ever since the end of the war. When we heard that you were coming here, we just assumed you were only going to see General Goro and Her Excellency. The guys are all really hoping to see you. We're fine. You don't have to worry about us, Captain.
No, you're not fine. Captain, you may not be aware, but Masashi previously fainted on the front lines. According to the doctor, if it hadn't been for the medication he's been taking, he would have developed dementia. And that was assuming the best case scenario.
You're one to talk. Don't forget why I fainted in the first place. It's because I heard that you got yourself killed by an arrow. I couldn't handle all the emotion. Later, I found out that he'd been shot in the buttocks and it was only a mild injury. I had an emotional breakdown for nothing.
What do you mean for nothing? I got shot not by one, but 2 arrows in a row. The first arrow was to the left cheek, and the second arrow was also to the left. And because the arrows were poisonous, the wound still hasn't completely healed yet. I have to apply ointment every day, and I'm constantly worried it might reopen while I sleep.
Look on the bright side. At least we're still alive.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. But enough about us. What brings you here, Captain?
These goods were all seized from the hands of Nobushi and treasure hoarders. Todoroki was the one who provided us with the intel. He mentioned there were bandits here and there, so we went and took care of them while also confiscating the goods.
By the way, Captain, you still haven't met Todoroki, have you? He's the one we're working for now. Her Excellency recently announced plans to stimulate the economy and created the caravans, with Todoroki at the helm.
Yeah, he's proven to be quite capable. Even though he was just a farmer before, he's now successfully running the caravans. And his 2 sons were also our brothers in arms. Both received a special medal of honor from General Goro, which is quite remarkable, don't you think?
So, as injured veterans, we've been reassigned to Todoroki. He's the one who gives us orders and pays our salaries now. What do they call that again?
It's called changing careers, dummy.
Ah, right. Changing careers. Anyway, I think the whole caravan thing is wonderful. Our region wasn't very prosperous to begin with, and the land can't grow any crops. We have to pay a hefty price just to get basic food from outside. I can't even imagine trying to maintain and feed an army like we did during the war.
I see. I think I understand the general situation now. May I ask where the apprehended criminals are?
And you are?
Ah, I see. The captain's friend. It should be okay to tell you then. We apprehended all the culprits and escorted them to a temporary location not far from here. Unfortunately, Masashi and I have other duties tonight and won't be able to take you there.
I'm pretty sure I've already got a grasp on what's going on. All I need... Are you still a little confused? Let me help connect the dots. This whole thing was actually quite similar to a case I once worked on previously. It was a case involving the trade of prohibited items, and they employed an old trick to execute the deal. The culprit would first go strolling down the street until they knocked over a pedestrian on purpose, using the opportunity to slip the prohibited...
Sir! Please forgive us, sir! Oh.
Sir? What do I look like? A commissioner? Does my friend here...
Officer! Officer!
First, I'm gonna need to ask you a few questions.
Sure.
The soldiers discovered many valuable goods in your camp. The goods don't appear to be from around here, so the...
Oh! The goods?
You picked them...
Well... No, we, actually stole them.
Be honest now. Tell me the whole story.
Yes, sir. I mean, Officer, we took those goods from a small merchant ship just off the beach, but we didn't exactly steal them. You see, the ship's guards all took off running the moment they saw us. They abandoned the goods, and we simply came and picked them up. But next thing we know, a group of soldiers arrives, and we're all apprehended. Talk about bad luck. We didn't even have a chance to stash away the goods before we got caught.
You say that the merchant ship's guards fled without putting up a fight. You expect me to believe that?
You just assumed they were scared witless and didn't have the guts to fight. I'm not bragging or anything, but our boss is pretty intimidating. With his massive muscle and strength, he could scare anyone.
You really expect us to believe all this?
No, you gotta believe me. Just the other day, we scared off an entire squad of soldiers. I still remember seeing tons of Songo pearls and crystal marrow on that load. Unfortunately, a bunch of pirates came later and snatched those goods. It just happened that our boss had diarrhea that day and couldn't hold off the pirates.
Wait a tick. Pirates?
Yep, no doubt about it. They came on a massive ship, and their captain was a pretty lady with an eye patch. We had no idea how powerful she was. It was like boom, boom, thud. Only took 3 hits before she knocked out the boss.
A pretty lady with an eye patch?
Oh. Does this description
no!
Okay. And how about you? Really? Okay, I'll take that as a no, then. It appears that the situation is just as I suspected. Todoroki is striking a shady deal with a group of pirates, while General Goro appears to be assisting with the cover-up.
What? How could that be?
Todoroki said that he'd be going to Sangonomiya early tomorrow morning to get Goro's instructions before the caravan leaves. Now is the time to address any doubts you may have. Tomorrow morning will be our moment to confront them. Hopefully, my final question will be answered then as well. The question of what important thing this island is missing. I can feel some connection to the question in Goro, Todoroki, and even to Kuda and Masashi. Hopefully, we'll finally have an answer tomorrow. Let's get some rest. I'll see you at Sangonomiya tomorrow morning.
Who are you?
Hello, Todoroki. I'm Shikanoin Heizo, Special Detective of the Tenryou Commission. I believe you've been manipulating large-scale illegal trades for some time now.
You can't just go around spewing...
And what if I'm not talking nonsense?
Ridiculous. I don't have time to listen to this.
I know I'm on the younger side compared to you, Todoroki, so I'm sure you must have heard the old saying. Off the scale, some goods only weigh a couple pounds, but on the scale, they weigh more than 1,000. So the question is, Do you want to put your goods on the scale or not?
What are you trying to say?
Well, nothing. All I want to hear is you personally confirming what we already know to be the truth.
Masashi! Tokuda! Arrest these people!
Huh? Todoroki, what's wrong?
Who dares to cause trouble at Sangonomiya Shrine? Huh? Wait, it's... Captain? What are you doing?
These crooks are trying to pry into the secrets of Watatsumi. We mustn't let them go.
But, no. There must be some kind of misunderstanding. Todoroki, this is the captain of Swordfish 2, one of our own.
It doesn't matter who they are. Remember what General Goro told you? A long-term goal of Watatsumi is to revive its trade and commerce. And since you have been assigned to work with me, it's my orders that count around here. I don't care if they were your captain. Would you dare disobey orders?
What do we do?
Well, what are you waiting for? All right, I see how it is. If you two won't do it, I will.
I really hoped it wouldn't come to this. But here we go.
Wait! Everyone, stand down!
General Goro! You're here.
My apologies, Traveler, Detective Heizo. I wasn't telling you the truth. Todoroki, the Traveler here is the hero who saved Watatsumi Island. Without him, Watatsumi Island would never have found the peace it has today. We mustn't raise our weapons against him.
How could you be so naive, General Goro? If we let them go free, then who's to say the Shogunate won't come after us tomorrow? If the Shogunate decides to investigate, we won't be able to hide the truth.
I wouldn't allow them to take you, Todoroki.
Let's not kid ourselves. If going to jail could solve the problem, I would go and turn myself into the Tenryou Commission right now. The question is, what are we going to do with the goods? Will you be able to keep them? Not to mention the chance of astronomical fines. Can you afford that? Goro, we both know that Watatsumi Island is a barren land. Plant 100 radishes here and maybe only 3 would grow. And those 3 combined would still be smaller than just 1 carrot imported from elsewhere. You can't grow food or medicinal herbs here, and if we buy them from Rito, we pay exorbitant taxes. My eldest son died fighting on the battlefield. But do you know how my second son died? He died because there was no medicine to treat him. You awarded both of them medals of honor, but did that save their lives? Can medals heal Tokuda and Masashi's wounds? No. It was the medicine that I got that saved their lives. If we detain them today, the Shogunate will never know what we've done. Besides, we're only a few months away now. We will set them free once the new bill is passed in just a few months, and everything will be okay. None of what happened here will be mentioned again, and life on Watatsumi Island will continue to improve.
I understand, Todoroki, but they won't...
I can trust the Traveler won't, but the detective here is a Tenryou Commission officer. Forget it. You're the general. I'm just a radish farmer.
It's a new commodity tax bill currently being drafted by the Kanjo Commission. The bill exempts taxes on goods that are in short supply on Watatsumi Island. Once the bill is introduced, we'll be able to buy commodities that we need from regular marketplaces.
Oh, I see. Man alive. I wish I had known sooner. In that case, how about we put your fears at ease and I'll stick around here a little longer. You know, until the bill is introduced.
Huh?
Detective Hazel, are you saying that...
You mean you're willing to stay here, young man?
Come on, you two. What's with the strange looks? You've been keeping me under close surveillance, haven't you? Surely you must have noticed that aside from being a detective, I'm also an ordinary tourist who likes to enjoy good scenery. I believe that after the new commodity bill is passed, there will be more and more traffic between the two sides, and more people will be coming to visit Watatsumi Island. I have to take the opportunity now and enjoy this place while I still have it all to myself. Before long, tourists will start pouring in.
Thank you, Detective Hazel. On behalf of the people of Watatsumi.
My pleasure. But one good turn deserves another, does it not?
Oh, you mean there's something you wish to request?
I suppose you could say I'm from the Shogunate, but the traveler next to me isn't. As far as I know, he's planning to visit other nations soon, and it is unclear if he will return to Narukami Island or not. Therefore, there's no need to limit his freedom, right? I'm sure no one else will hear of what happened today. Am I right, traveler?
Well, it's settled then. He will always be an important partner to Watatsumi, and I would never dream of limiting his freedom. So please, don't worry, Detective Hazo.
I'll hold you to that. But if I ever find out you've lied to me again, there's a chance I'll lose my cool.
I'm sorry for not telling you the truth earlier. It's a serious matter, and I didn't want outside parties to become involved. But today, I realized my poor judgment. How could I possibly hide anything from Detective Hazo and the Traveler?
I'm glad you understand now. But, in all honesty, I'm the one who should be thanking you. It's because of you that I was finally able to reach an answer. After all, nothing makes a detective happier than putting a case to rest.
Ah, I understand now. You really are an interesting person, Detective Hazo.
No, I'm afraid you don't quite get what I mean.
I'm sorry?
Wait! Paimon gets this one! It's the answer to your question, right? The one about the thing you sensed coming from Goro and the others. Now you figured it out!
What? The thing you sensed coming from me? But I always have excellent personal hygiene.
No, not like that.
Hey, Traveler, could I talk to you for a moment? Besides, I haven't had a chance to thank you yet. Hey, there you are. Come here, look. It's beautiful, isn't it? Watatsumi Island. It's remarkable how such a barren land can give life to such wonderful and stunning scenery. To be honest, I am grateful to you for this trip. Before you arrived, I was running around like a headless chicken. Even if I happened to find out what was going on here, I wouldn't have been able to uncover any concrete information without you present. I'm just sorry that I promised I'd accompany you back. It appears that I won't be able to do so for the time being. So please, cover for me in the meantime, okay? It's all in the past now. Let's just chalk it up as an intriguing experience I had on my trip here. Besides, that's not what I wanted to investigate anyway. Yes. Everyone you led me to and everything they said brought me closer to the answer. And now I finally get it. Watatsumi Island is an ancient land where the soil is poor and many crops do not grow because it's lacking a certain thing. But what the inhabitants of this land do have is bravery. They were courageous enough to stand up and resist the gods and accomplish what they knew could not be done. This is yet another instance in which that certain thing shines. That missing element. That certain thing, which is the true vitality of this land. I guess I was mistaken when I declared that something was missing. That something from this island had evaporated into thin air. When water is heated by fire, it evaporates and eventually finds its place in the sky. Similarly, when the land was harmed, its vitality evaporated and eventually found its place among the inhabitants. This is the final answer I've been searching for. Anyway, thanks again. You know, even though we just met, I wish you could be my partner all the time. Call me greedy, I guess. But, of course, I know that's impossible. You have your own journey to complete. So I'll just keep doing what I can. Hopefully keeping my memories from evaporating safe and sound in my mind. That way, I'll always be able to remember these beautiful things. The beauty of Watatsumi Island. The people who are full of life and vitality. And you two, who were by my side.